Why does self-care feel like homework now? Like another thing you're meant to be good at. It's not just take a breath anymore. It's skincare routines, gym plans, meal prep, journaling, drinking 2 liters of water, and somehow also looking like you slept. And if you're not doing it, you feel guilty, like you're failing at even resting. Today, I want to unpack what happened, what actually helps, and what's just extra admin dressed up as wellness. Because real rest should feel like relief, not pressure. So let's talk about why it started feeling like a chore in the first place. Okay, so here's the thing. When most mums picture self care, they don't picture a nap or sitting in silence. They picture an image, version of a woman who has it together, clear skin, shiny hair, matching gym set, iced coffee, tidy house in the background, and she's somehow calm. That image gets sold to us over and over, and it's sneaky because it looks like support. It looks like someone saying, you deserve this, but it often comes with a hidden message. And if you're not doing this, you're letting yourself go. And that's where self care turns into a performance. Because now it's not, what do I need? It's, what should I be doing? And the second it becomes should, it's basically joined your to do list. You're not alone if you've ever thought, I need to do self care and immediately felt tired. That's not laziness, that's your brain clocking another task. And there's a reason it hits mums so hard. When you're caring for kids, you're already running a constant mental load. You're holding the shopping list in your head, the school reminders, the emotional temperature of the house, who's due a dentist appointment, who hates socks with seams, who's not coping with change this week. That background thinking is real work. So then self care shows up, packaged as another set of decisions. Pick the right serum, pick the right workout, pick the right morning routine, pick the right supplements. And if you pick wrong, it's like you've wasted your one tiny chance to feel better. That's choice overload, right? Too many options, not enough energy, and then you feel like you've failed at resting. And can we talk about how much of it is looks based? Because a lot of modern self care is basically stay attractive while exhausted. The pressure to look fresh when you feel wrecked is intense. It's bounce back culture. It's get your body back. It's don't lose yourself. And that sounds empowering until you realize it's still asking you to manage everyone's needs and your appearance at the same time. Like, cool, I'll just add be hot to the list between packing lunches and wiping the bench again. I remember a season where my idea of self care was literally making myself do a whole routine at night because I'd seen it online. Cleanse, tone, mask, moisturize, oil, the works. And on paper, it was nice. But in real life, it felt like I was speed running a beauty checklist while listening for a child calling out. I'd be standing there thinking, if I don't do this, I'm not taking care of myself. And if I do it, I'm still resentful because it's taking time I don't have. That's such a weird headspace, isn't it? Like you're doing self care and somehow it still doesn't feel very caring. And it's because care isn't the same as improvement. A lot of commercialized self care is built on perfectionism. It's the idea that you can optimize your way out of burnout. Like if you just had the right planner and the right morning routine, you'd be fine. But perfectionism turns everything into a pass fail test. If you can't do the full routine, if you do none of it, if you miss a day, you feel like you ruined it. And then self care becomes another place you can fall short, which is the last thing a depleted mum needs. So here's a reframe I want you to remember. If it's another task you dread, it's not care, it's admin. If the thought of it makes you tense, if it feels like pressure, if it feels like you're performing for someone, it's probably not the kind of self care you need right now. Now, I'm not saying skincare is bad or the gym is bad or wanting to look nice is bad. Not at all. Sometimes that can genuinely feel good. But the question is, does it restore you or is it just another way to prove you're coping? And here's where it gets interesting because half the things we call self care aren't even care, they're just basic survival. So let's separate two things that get mashed together all the time: maintenance and restoration. Maintenance is what keeps you running, It's the stuff your body needs so you can function like a normal human. Restoration is what actually fills you back up. It's what makes you feel more like you again, not just less close to falling apart. And mums get stuck because we're so deep in maintenance mode that we start calling basic needs self-care just to make them sound optimal. Like, oh, I treated myself to a long shower. No, you didn't treat yourself. You cleaned your body. That's a human need. Same with eating a proper meal, drinking water, brushing your teeth without someone yelling mum through the door, getting enough sleep, going to the toilet alone, having 5 minutes where nobody touches you. These aren't luxuries, they're requirements. And if you're hearing that and feeling a bit angry or sad, that makes sense. Because when a shower feels like a reward, something's off in the system, not with you, with the way the day is set up. This is also why self-care advice can feel so tone deaf, because if someone says, just prioritize yourself, but you're in a season where you can't even finish a cup of hot tea, it lands like a joke. You're thinking, prioritize myself when? Between the school run and the snack requests and the work emails and the laundry mountain and the emotional support, I'm apparently running like a free 24-hour hotline. And again, there's actual research, language for this, without us needing to get all academic about it. The mental load doesn't just take time, it takes attention. It chops your day into tiny pieces. You're constantly switching tasks, constantly interrupted, constantly on. And so even when you have 10 minutes, your brain doesn't read it as a rest because you're waiting for the next need to pop up. And then there's the guilt. Because a lot of us were raised with this quiet belief that good mums are selfless. So if you're meeting your own basic needs, you feel selfish. Like, how dare I sit down to eat when someone needs something? How dare I lock the bathroom door? How dare I go to bed when there's still stuff to do? But feeding yourself isn't a treat, it's a requirement. Sleeping isn't a luxury, it's a biological need. A shower isn't self-care, it's hygiene. And I want this podcast to be really clear about that, because labeling survival as self-care is one of the ways we normalize mums running on empty. And I've lived this. I've had those days where I think, right, I'll just have a quick shower. I'm already negotiating with myself like it's a spa booking. I get in and I'm trying to wash my hair at speed, and I hear footsteps outside the door, and then the little voice, and then the knocking. And then you're standing there dripping thinking, I can't even do this one basic thing without being needed. Or you finally make a cup of tea. You take one sip and then it's cold. And you're annoyed, but you're also weirdly used to it. Like, you're like, yeah, of course it's cold because everything I do gets interrupted. And then you look at the cold tea and you still feel behind. That is such a specific mum feeling. So here's a mini reset for the week. And I want it to be gentle and realistic. Pick one basic need to protect, just one, not a full glow up plan, not a new routine, one thing. Maybe it's eating breakfast before you start feeding everyone else. Maybe it's filling a big water bottle and actually getting through it. Maybe it's a proper shower where you say, I'm going in for 10 minutes. Unless someone is bleeding, don't knock. Maybe it's 10 minutes of quiet where you sit in the car before you go inside. That's okay. You're not alone. Because when you protect the basics, you stop the free fall. And once the basics are steadier, then we can talk about the kind of self-care that isn't maintenance at all. The kind that restores you. So if maintenance is the basics, then what is real self-care? This is where I like to use the simple filter: performative rest versus real rest. Performative rest is the kind that looks good. It's curated, it's tracked, it's optimized. It's like the version where you feel like you have to do it the right way, and ideally you come out the other side improved. Like you're meant to glow or be calmer or be more productive or have a better body or a better mindset. And if it doesn't work, you blame yourself. Real rest is way less impressive. It's a nervous system downshift. It's when your brain stops scanning for the next thing. It's when your body unclenches a bit. And the biggest sign that you hit real rest is that there's no output required. No before and after, no lesson, no proof. And I know that sounds almost too simple, but that's the point. If you're burnt out, your system doesn't need a project, it needs relief. So let me give you some examples that count, even though they're not very exciting. Reading a chapter of a book that has nothing to do with parenting. A slow walk on your own where no one's asking you questions. Sitting in the car and listening to one song all the way through. Going for a swim and just doing laps like you used to. painting your nails because you like the color, not because you're trying to look put together. Having a coffee by yourself and not using that time to plan your life. Here's a little test I love, and it's so telling. Would you still do this if nobody knew? If you couldn't post it, if you couldn't explain it, if nobody clapped for you, would you still want it? Because if the answer is yes, you're probably in real rest territory. And if the answer is no, that doesn't mean it's bad. It just means it might be more about keeping up than filling up. And remember, you've got this, but you don't have to prove you've got this. This is where the productivity trap sneaks in, right? You finally get a pocket of time and you go, okay, I should make the most of it. I should meditate and journal and stretch and do skincare and tidy the kitchen so I feel less stressed, and maybe start that course and maybe plan meals so the week is easier. And suddenly your me time becomes a mini shift at your second job. Actually, wait, let me clarify something. It's not that journaling or meditation is fake. It's that when you're already carrying too much, anything can become a weapon you turn on yourself, even good things, even helpful tools. If it turns into, if I don't do this, I'm failing, it stops being care. So sometimes the most restorative thing you can do is something that has no point. It's just enjoyable. It's just yours. Joy is allowed. Fun is allowed. It doesn't need to be educational or healthy or productive to count. And I know some of you are thinking like, oh yeah, but what about the big stuff? Like, I love a weekend away with the girls, but that's not happening. And I get it. Big rest can feel impossible in the season you're in. So I want you to think in two sizes: small rest and big rest. Big rest is the girls' weekend, the proper day out, the long swim, the massage, quiet hotel room. It's amazing. And if you can do it, do it. But small rest is the thing that keeps you from going under between those bigger moments. Small rest is 10 minutes of reading, a solo walk around the block, music in your headphones while you fold laundry, not as a hack, but because it makes you feel like a person. 5 minutes in the backyard with your face in the sun. One phone call with a friend where you don't talk about the kids the whole time. And here's the identity piece, because this matters more than we think. When you become a mum, you don't stop being you. You do lose easy access to you. So real self-care is about remembering what you liked before kids or discovering what you like now. Maybe you used to love swimming. Maybe you used to love writing. Maybe you used to love just wandering through the shops with no plan. Maybe you don't know what you like right now because you've been in survival mode for so long. And that's okay. Start small. Try one thing. Notice how you feel. Keep what works. Drop what doesn't. No drama. No self-improvement storyline. Just you getting tiny pieces of yourself back. Now, the hardest time to do any of this is at night. When the house finally shuts up, that's where revenge bedtime comes in. So let's talk about that thing where you're exhausted all day and you swear you're going to bed early and then suddenly it's midnight and you're still up. That's revenge bedtime procrastination. It's basically when you delay sleep to reclaim time that didn't belong to you all day. And if you do this, you're not broken, you're not lazy, you're trying to meet a real need: autonomy, quiet, control, a moment where nobody needs anything. Because all day your time is spoken for. Even your breaks are usually functional. You're folding laundry, replying to messages, packing bags, cleaning up, sorting tomorrow. Then everyone goes to bed and it's like, finally, this is mine. And it makes sense that your brain goes, don't waste it. But here's the gentle truth. It works short term, but it costs you tomorrow. Less sleep hits your mood, your patience, your energy, and it makes everything feel harder. And then you need more revenge time the next day because the day was harder, and it becomes this loop. There's also a brain piece here that helps it make sense. When you're stressed and depleted, your brain looks for a quick dopamine, and scrolling is the easiest one. It doesn't ask anything of you. It just feeds you tiny hints of novelty until you're too tired to stop. So instead of trying to force yourself into some perfect early bedtime, try a tiny recalm ritual. 10 minutes, that's it. Something that actually fills your cup, not just numbs you. Pick one enjoyable thing before bed. Read 2 pages, listen to one song, stretch on the floor, have a shower with the door locked, sit outside, anything. Then set one anchor for lights out. Like, when I finish this chapter, I'm done. Or when the song ends, I'm plugging my phone in across the room. You're still reclaiming time. You're just reclaiming it in a way that doesn't steal from tomorrow. So here's the takeaway. Self-care isn't another task. It's whatever restores you, even in tiny pieces. So here's your 10-minute cup filler challenge today. Pick one thing that actually feels good. Reading, a walk, a swim, music in your headphones, a shower with the door locked. Then make it real. When are you doing it? And what are you saying no to so it happens? If you want more honest mum conversations like this, follow the podcast and send this to a mum who needs permission. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of the Real Mummy podcast. Remember, every mum's journey is unique and you are doing an amazing job. Please be sure to head over to our website at www.realmummypodcast.com to stay up to date with the latest episodes and dive into our recent blog articles filled with even more wisdom and stories. We absolutely love connecting with our listeners, so don't forget to follow us on social media. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Real Mummy Podcast. Join the conversation, share your thoughts, and become part of our supportive mum community. And I'd love to hear from you. Have you got a topic you want covered? Do you have a guest you'd love to hear from? Reach out to us through our website or social media. Your input is invaluable and helps us to create the content that matters most to you. Thank you for being part of the Real Mummy Podcast family. Until next time, stay strong, stay kind to yourself, and remember, you're never alone on this journey.